You know what I like to call it? More BS. Because that's what it is. It's more Sony BS. Don't expect anything up to Marvel standards in any of these Sony movies. I think at this point it's proven. Don't even do it. Don't waste your time.
Don't even expect the DCEU. Always got their shit more together than Sony does.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of the Venom movies. I know a lot of people like them. I will say those two movies are more entertaining than Morbius. But I can only say a couple good things, Ricky. A couple good things about this movie.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's hear it.
That is Jared Leto, good as Morbius.
I agree.
Not spectacular, but it's a normal Jared Leto finally.
When I'm going into this movie, I'm thinking, okay, Jared Leto is probably going to be way over the top in this movie, and it's going to take away from what the movie is. I didn't think that happened at all.
Yeah, he was just a normal guy.
Yeah.
And you don't expect that from Jared Leto, so good on him. Am I excited for Jared Leto going forward as Morbius? I don't know, I'm in between. It's just because of the movie. And the other good thing, Ricky, is the CGI faces. They did look practical as vampires. I don't know if you guys seen the 1994 version of Wolf starring Jack Nicholson. It's almost the same fucking story between the two leads here, Matt Smith and Jared Leto, which their story was pretty good at first, and then there's no character development. It just goes from here to here to here to there. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it feels very choppy. It feels like it's a puzzle that's not finished. Not a lot of it makes sense, to be honest with you. You're kind of sitting there wondering, like, did I miss something? Because I could easily doze off during this movie. Did I doze off?
No. We were both wide awake. We actually looked at each other a couple times and just laughed at some of the ridiculousness of it.
There's a line in this movie that made me cringe to my fucking core. Morbius is in an interrogation scene, and he says to the police, he goes, "I'm hungry." What do you say?
I'm hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry. Fucking come the fuck on. Okay, let me tell you. They try to have comedy in this movie, right?
Yes.
We'll get to this one character named Agent Rodriguez in a little bit. Jesus Christ. They try to have so much comedy in this movie. And they're like, this is how they look at us comic book and comic book movie fans. They're fucking idiots. We're just going to throw out a fucking character out there. Just put some CGI in it. Put some money in it. Cast some big stars in it. Oh, they're going to enjoy it. Fuck you, motherfucker. And then we're going to throw in a fucking line that references another fucking Marvel character. It's like, no, bitch. Unless Morbius said that in comics, I'm sorry, not many people know about Morbius in the comics. Good on ya. And then the CGI in this movie is really shoddy too, really choppy here and there. He's jumping from building to building, flying, and there's like this smoke coming off of him, like, and it's the same color as his clothes.
Yeah, they don't explain it at all. I just assume he's moving so fast that you kind of get the tracer from him, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like there's just smoke, different colored smoke coming off this guy at all times. And it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just like throwing in there, it's like the director's like, this is my vision. And let me get on the director, Daniel Espinosa. I said it in one of our trailer reactions. I'm like, this guy gets the best cast out of anybody. Like, all of his movies has great cast, but they're such vanilla. He's a director hired by the studio to make their fucking movies, to continue on with their vision. Like, there's no effort put in. It's just him with the camera, and he'll do some weird shots. Like, you remember the beginning where he's behind like a glass and you're listening to Morbius and the female in this, who was one of the most forgettable characters.
I forgot that there was a female lead in this movie till just now.
But they're having a conversation and you could barely hear what they're saying. I'm thinking that's where they explain the serum. Maybe we're dumb, maybe we didn't pay attention, but it's the movie's fault. I don't know how he becomes a vampire or anything like that. And the beginning of the movie, you see in the trailer, he goes up to the Batcave and he cuts his hand, and then it goes back in time. I'm like, when did that happen?
You must have fell asleep.
Okay, what happened?
He took some DNA from the bats and was creating some type of serum. He basically was like, what do you say it? How do you say it without coming off super offensive? Cripple?
Yeah, disabled.
Disabled? That's probably a better one. He's trying to create a serum that will fix his condition and his best friend / basically brother's condition. And with the main antagonist in this movie being this...
has 2 fucking names.
The things he's doing in this movie, you scratch your head and you go, well, why the fuck would this guy that's been a completely normal guy this whole movie just completely turn into a psychopath? It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, he's a sympathetic character, and then he gets a serum and just full on bat. And people are trying to say that this guy has character development in this movie. I'm like, no, he goes from fucking a good guy to a bad guy immediately.
If there's a longer version of this movie out there...
There has to be.
There has to be.
Sony, they had 2 years. This movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago. Sony had to have put their hands in this for like 2 years and just fucking with it, messing around with it. Like, well, this is a good movie. We have to try and make it better. And nobody learns their fucking lesson. Studios, yeah, thank you for putting the movies out, but stop putting your hands dancing, acting like you could make a better movie than the fucking filmmaker. And first off, it was so dumb to delay the release of this movie from February to April, because this movie could have been riding off the hotness that was Spider-Man No Way Home, which made billions of dollars, because they weren't confident. We're like, well, let's release it. And we're going to release it after the Batman, so people forgot about Spider-Man and just want to talk about the Batman now. And then this movie has a bunch of bats in it too. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. There's a character in this movie named Agent Rodriguez.
I have a couple takes on
Please
this
go
guy,
on, because I got a few takes.
I know a thing or two about comedic relief.
He's a funny guy.
It's not even that. It's just I can spot the comedic relief in movies because it's kind of it's the guy that I relate to the most, because I've always been just the guy that's cracking jokes around the friend groups my whole life. Are you laughing at me or with me? Because I haven't said anything that would make you laugh with me, so I feel like you're laughing at me.
No, I'm laughing at the whole concept, like what they were thinking when they wrote these lines for this. We're not gonna make fun of the actor here. It's the character.
He's obviously the comedic relief. You can tell that from the first fucking line he says, and it's failed joke, failed joke, failed joke, failed joke. The comedic relief in this movie is not funny. He's the least funny person in the movie.
Like, the whole time I'm watching this guy, I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, he doesn't do much. And then the whole time I'm like thinking back, I'm like, oh, he's supposed to be the comedic relief. I don't know. I've never felt this way before. You know, somebody says that guy has a face I want to punch? And this is the character. I'm not talking about the actor. The character, Agent Rodriguez. I want to take a fucking bowling ball, Ricky. Fucking knock him out with it. And shove the fucking bowling ball into his lifeless, fucking knocked out, unconscious fucking mouth. And just shove it down in there, Ricky. And then pull it out the fucking back end of his fucking asshole, Ricky. And then do the same thing over and over and over again. It was the most fucking uninspired fucking performance I've ever seen in my entire life. I just can't believe it. They went for so many laughs in this movie. And you will usually get one from somebody in the fucking audience.
There was 8 people in the audience. It was me, you, and 6 other people, and that's it.
Well, we went to the 5 o'clock show. I'm sure there'll be more at the 7 o'clock show. But yeah, but still, even with the 8 people, Ricky, you went 0 for 8.
Not a single laugh.
Another problem with this fucking director is the way he shoots action scenes. A lot of directors have this fucking problem.
Can I break, before you get into this, let me break down an action scene in Morbius. A lot of fast movements, a lot of blurry lights, and then a part where it slows down. And then it goes all the way through, and that's it.
You're waiting for this last fight between Matt Smith's character and Jared Leto's character, and you can't see it. They're falling through buildings, and there's a bunch of bats, and then Jared Leto gets them, and then we're supposed to feel sympathy for him, Ricky. We're supposed to feel sympathy for Matt Smith. He murdered a bunch of people!
I had the Martha from
totally.
Batman vs. Superman vibe in this scene, where it's just like...
Just more well acted.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Matt Smith, he seems to be the best part of the movie to most people. I'm not seeing that.
Can I tell you what Matt Smith reminded me of? Have you seen The Mask?
Oh, yeah, Jim Carrey.
Now, towards the end of The Mask, where the bad
villain
guy gets it on,
yeah.
Every time I'm looking at this guy's character in this Morbius movie, I'm just referring back to the villain from The Mask.
Yeah,
There's so many similarities between them, with the jawline, the suit, the fucking face. I just couldn't. I couldn't get away from it. I'm just like, there's the fucking villain from Mask again.
There's a cringy ass scene where he's dancing in front of a mirror.
There's no point for this scene to be in the movie.
No.
It didn't do anything for the movie. It's like, okay, yeah, he's happy that he can walk again, but it's like, cut that scene down to like 4 seconds.
There's supposed to be a huge twist that Matt Smith is the fucking villain too in this movie. I knew right away. Especially the hallway scene. There is this creepy little hallway scene in a hospital where you're thinking we're gonna get a good ass jump scare. And they try a jump scare, but they missed that fucking by a mile. Because you could have had, they should have had all the lights flickering on and off and then him showing up behind. Like, they killed it with because they didn't want you knowing that it wasn't Matt Smith at that time. Even though it's revealed 10 minutes later that it was Matt Smith.
What's the fuck of the point of hiding who did it if you're going to reveal who did it 5 minutes later?
Yeah, this movie is so rushed. It's scene. There's no time to breathe. There's no time for character development whatsoever.
Not even close.
And then in the same interrogation scene you're talking about, you got the 2 cops interrogating Jared Leto, and this motherfucker is seriously turned into a fucking vampire in front of him. And they're just acting like nothing's going on. They're like, okay, we had enough with this guy. And then get up and walk out. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
That's the moment where I was like, okay, yep, you suck. And then everything you heard in the last couple weeks that this movie was lying to you through the marketing of the trailers and everything, saying that this is going to be in the same universe as Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Vulture shows up, Michael Keaton's Vulture. This is extra credit scenes. They do show up as extra credit scenes. You're just like, you're so much more lost, and not in a good way, in a fucking bad way. Because you're like, when did this take place during No Way Home? Why is Vulture now in the Sonyverse, but no more in the MCU? I have no idea what the fuck's going on anymore. And I think Marvel is just like, Sony, we're keeping Spider-Man. Stay the fuck away.
I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, just bring Andrew Garfield back in the Sonyverse, make an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie, then everybody will be fucking happy. Just make sure Sony, you need to start hiring directors worth the fuck. You can't have Ruben Fleischer doing Venom, and then Andy Serkis, great fucking actor, not that good of a director, and then fucking Daniel Espinosa, one of the most vanilla fucking way for white bread fucking directors I've ever seen in my entire life, doing this shit. Fucking get somebody that's fucking worth the fuck. Please.
Well, Justin, this movie is going to come out on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K at some point. We collect that shit, so I say to you, hey, get it or forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it. Yeah. Now, if I had my whole Sonyverse and Marvelverse lined up here on my DVDs, and I'm very particular about having complete collections, but if Morbius was missing out of that collection, I'd feel nothing.
Yeah, no. I will never watch this movie again.
Yeah, I won't either.
It reminds me of a movie they're going to put on FX or something like that to play like 24 hours a day and nobody's going to watch FX at that time. Why they do that shit, I don't fucking know.
At the end of the day, Morbius was exactly as we expected, a lackluster movie that really served no purpose. Luckily for you, though, we do have another video right here. Tell them about
I'm
this
sorry,
one.
you got to do that again.
Yeah, again?
I was staring off in the fucking space.